Hi everyone, it's Ashley with Going Crochetzy, and I am here today to do a question and answer series with you guys. So in my community tab, I asked to give me some questions about me, crochet, and everything else in between. And so I am now going to answer those questions. While I'm answering those questions, I am going to be making a blanket. This is the cow blanket that I started making a while ago. It's been like 3 weeks now, but it might be longer once you see this video. And I have decided that this is a great time to work on crocheting and talking with you guys so you can get to know me a little bit better. The last time I did a Q&A video like this, it was when I had just hit 1,000 subscribers, and so I was doing a Q&A for those 1,000 subscribers to get to know me a little bit more personally. And so since then I have picked up 1,000 plus subscribers, and so I thought this would be a good time to be able to talk with everyone and have you guys get to know me. Some of the questions are going to be repeat questions, but not too many, to be honest. And so I thought, why not do it? So you might see some animals in and out here and there because they can't leave me alone, like the cat right now. He is trying to get in on my lap because my animals are obsessed with me. I have 3, if you don't know. I have the cat named George. He's 16 plus years old. I have an old man dog, Boston Terrier, named Fred. And I have a puppy Boston Terrier named Tracker. So I'm sure at some point you'll see them within the videos, tails and whatnot. But let's get going and let me answer some questions for you guys. The first question was, how did you get started in crocheting? So I pretty much asked my mom to teach me how to crochet. I was an adult out of the house, but I was getting bored. My husband wasn't home. I don't think we were married at the time though. So I needed something just to keep me busy, keep my hands and mind busy while I was kind of sitting by myself and not doing a whole bunch. So I asked my mom if she could teach me how to crochet because I knew she knew how to crochet. Even though she didn't crochet a whole lot and I hadn't seen her crochet in years, I knew she did know how to because she had crocheted some blankets and other things in the past. And so I just asked her one day, I said, can you teach me how to crochet? We sat down for about an hour. She taught me slip knot, chain, single crochet, and I just took off from there. I started making scarves and blankets at first, and then I built up to making hats for a long time. And then recently I switched over to making stuffed animals or plushies because my son asks me to make those for him when he started getting old enough and was aware that I could make plushies, and he loves anything stuffed, so he would ask me to make things for him. I actually did make my first stuffed plush creation when he turned 1. I made him a little John Deere tractor when he turned 1, and I still have it to this day. He wasn't very interested in it, but I kept it because I thought, hey, what better way to see how much I progressed throughout the years by this not very nice John Deere tractor that I made. I think I actually might make a video of me making that same tractor now versus when I made it then, just to see how it turns out and put them together, compare them side by side to see how much I've improved and actually see if my son wants it, because he just says the one I made for him was creepy. So, so yeah, I might have to do that. So on to the next question. What is the most complicated project you've ever completed? Actually, I would like to say that that would be the Harry Potter sorting hat. And the reason behind it being that is because the pattern was very confusing to me. They had lots of details in the pattern itself, but I don't know, it just wasn't explained very clearly to me, and there was no way I could like get a hold of the creator of the pattern to ask them questions because it was from a book, a Harry Potter book. And so I had to stop with that project a lot of times. I would stop, put it away for a while, pull it back out. I actually ended up making things up as I went. I would try to see if I could find a picture that would be close enough to that part of the pattern to see if I would be able to figure it out from pictures, but there weren't too many pictures for it, and it was just very confusing to me. It would say stuff like the flap, put crochet into the flap, but there was no flap to crochet into. It was just very confusing. It gave me lots of headaches. It took me a while to finish that project. And not only did it take a while, it took a lot of yarn, and it ended up being humongous. If I have a picture of it, I will put it up here so you can see what it turned out to look like. I do think it did end up looking like the sorting hat, but it just was really big and just a very complicated pattern to make. I have a friend who asks me to make it for her, and after the first one, she was sitting here with me while I was making it, and she was like, yeah, I guess I won't ask you to make it because you definitely were saying some choice words while making that. I don't want to have to put you through that stress again. All right, on to the next question. The next question was, what crochet YouTube channels do you watch? And I think that's a great question because there are a lot of channels out there. There's some big names and then some smaller YouTube people, and I do tend to watch more of the smaller YouTube people than the bigger ones. And the ones that I watch the most of are actually ones that I communicate with through Instagram and other sources. Some of those would be Stacy Makes, Old Soul Factory, which is mom and daughter, made by Amanda Mal. I wrote them down so I wouldn't forget any of them. Awestruck Crochet, Crafty Kate, and Faith and Loops Crochet. Those are some of quote unquote friends, some people I've actually communicated with in other ways. And so, you know, it's fun to support those people that you actually kind of know in a way. I also do watch some of the bigger names out there. Like Cameron's Cute Creations was actually one of the first YouTube crochet accounts that I had ever watched, and she kind of inspired me to do my own YouTube channel, so that was cool. All right, next question. If you could only crochet 3 things for a year, what would they be? What yarn and why? This is a very difficult question because I get very bored of crocheting the same thing over and over and over again. So I feel like it would have to be bigger projects that take me more time to make rather than small projects, because the small projects I would get bored so quick. I wouldn't be able to crochet anymore. I would just have to take a break from crocheting. So I think some of the bigger projects would be maybe like Winnie the Dragon by Red Mill Crochet, because that's a really big project and it would take time, although it does require a lot of sewing. Maybe Anchor the Octopus, because that's also another large project to do. And For the third one, maybe it would be like a blanket, a granny square blanket, because I can do that without thinking about what I'm doing. I can just crochet and not have to think about it. So I would need something like that as well, just so I could continue to crochet without having to worry about counting or having polyfill or anything like that. So I'd say those would be the three. For the yarn, I would say probably Sweet Snuggles Light, because for those two projects, you would want a bigger yarn. And honestly, for the Granny Square blanket, it would just be in a worsted weight size yarn. But if I was only allowed to use one type of yarn, I would go for Sweet Snuggles Light. And then what was the other part of that question? The third part of that question was also, oh, no, that was everything, and why it says. So yeah, so the yarn, I would definitely do the Sweet Snuggles Light, just because it's a bit chunkier and it's nice and soft. Although it does shed a lot, but I ignore the shedding, and I just have a little vacuum that I keep close by. I have like a little dust buster vacuum that I keep close by just to soak up the fuzzies, because they are going to get everywhere and there's no way you can get around it. So I just suck it up and move on. All right, next question. What yarn colors do you most prefer for plushies? Well, I guess I most prefer natural colors for my plushies. So if I'm making a lion, I gear towards lion colors. If I'm making a pig, I'm gonna do pink. If I'm making a cow, it's usually gonna be white and black. And I'm kind of boring in that sense, because I personally like to make things look like they're supposed to look. If I'm making an elephant, I'll do gray and stuff like that. So I actually have to ask my son to tell me what colors to use sometimes, just to liven up what I'm making, because he definitely has a knack for picking out bright colors that I wouldn't normally pick out. And I would definitely just have a very muted look to my table if it wasn't for him. So I definitely prefer more of the neutral colors. Next question is, how do you price your plushies? Well, that's kind of a difficult one for me. So I do have Cameron's Cute Creations pricing calculator, and I have used that in the past and it works very nicely. I do find that sometimes the prices that I would like to have versus the prices that fit my community are different. So I do the best I can. I figure it out on the pricing calculator how much I would like to make for something, and then I will actually usually drop it down a little bit. I want people in my local area to be able to afford and get some items, and that might not be accessible at higher costs. So I don't make as much of a profit as I possibly could if I sold on Etsy, or if I mailed things out. I usually just try to keep it very local. And so I'm okay with that, because I don't want to say it's just a hobby for me, but I feel like if you are pricing your things, you need to price them at a rate that is most comfortable for you and your area and what works best for you. And so that is why my prices might be slightly lower than other people's prices. But that's just because I want to be more accessible to more people that live in my local area. It's a touchy subject, I would say. Oh, here comes one of the dogs. I told you they would come make an appearance. He's gonna go sit on my pillow. He's sitting on top of the Boston Terrier pillow. Anytime there's anything Boston Terrier related, you will see it in my house. I buy everything Boston Terrier related. I have two framed pictures in my living room that are Boston Terriers. I have the pillow, the seasonal winter pillow. That's a Boston Terrier. I have towels that we dry off with that have Boston Terriers on them. Anytime I see anything Boston Terrier, I'm going to buy it because you got to represent your animal. All right, on to the next question. What do you decide is a successful market? I think that one is also very personal to each individual. And for me individually, I would say that a successful market for me is one that I have made back my booth. And yes, success for me doesn't really relate to money per se. It relates to if it was worth my time or not. If I had a good time doing it, if I felt like I didn't miss out on any family time or anything like that. Numbers to me aren't as important as quality of the show, how I feel after a show, if I feel good, if I feel like I got a feeling of fulfillment from communicating with other vendor friends and communicating with maybe potential customers or just people that are checking out the booth, people that are maybe admiring my items. So it's not necessarily a monetary value to me. It's more of how I feel emotionally about it, how it left me feeling at the end of the day. If that makes sense. Do you set goals for your markets? Yes, I do set goals. When I go into a market, I have two goals. My first goal is I want to make back my table. If I don't make back my table, there's no point in me being there because I'm just losing. And the second goal I usually have is get down one less bag. So I have those big tote bags that I bring that look like tarps, right? So I have like the big tarp tote bags. So my goal is usually to knock one of those out. So when I fill my car up at the end of the show, I have one less bag that I have to fill up. If I have one less bag at the end of the day, then I have met my goal. Sometimes when I do multiple day shows, it's funny because I won't bring all of my inventory if I have a lot of inventory. And then the second day I'll go into the show and I'll bring more stuff. And then at the end of the show, I might end up having more stuff than I started the weekend off with. And then I'm like, why do I do this to myself? Why do I bring more things in when I have a specific goal of leaving with less things, and then I have more things by the end of the show? I think is really funny. So this last market, I was laughing with my vendor neighbor because I was making so many things while I was there because it was so dead. I was saying I was going to be leaving with more things than I came in with because I was just making. And so I just thought that that was funny because I always have this goal of to have one less bag, but at that particular market, I was potentially going to be leaving with more inventory than when I started the market with. Oh, and we have one final question. So the last question is, do you have a plushie that sells well, but you really don't enjoy making? And my answer to that is no, because I stop making it if I don't enjoy making it. I don't care if it's gonna sell or not. If I don't enjoy doing it, I'm not gonna make it. I would say things in the past that I have phased out over the time that I've been making plushies are bees. Bees were one I just got tired of making because they're just, I don't know, adding the wings to them, the color changing, everything like that. I just got tired of making bees. So bees would definitely be under one of those, but I don't make bees anymore because I didn't enjoy making them. So I stopped making them. Other things would probably be octopus. What else have I stopped making over the time? Honestly, I can't even think of it because I just stopped making it when I stopped enjoying making it. So I feel like that is really important for me personally. I am not going to just make things to make money at them. I know some people might think I'm crazy because I could make a ton of money on one item, but it's not what is important to me. And so I would definitely say that if I don't enjoy making it, I'm not going to make it. Unless you're like a friend and you ask me to make something for you, I'll make it for you most of the time if it's not going to take up a lot of my time or stress, like that Harry Potter sorting hat. But I definitely will make it if it's something small and quick. I can definitely suck it up for an afternoon and make something. But I'm not going to make a bunch of them for a market if I don't enjoy it. There's no point in me sitting here being miserable crocheting when I could definitely be doing a lot more with my time and my family. So I won't make things just because I know they're going to sell, because it just doesn't bring me joy. And that is the whole point of me doing this in the first place, is bringing myself joy, and just having something to do in my spare time that's not going to eat into my family life too severely. I know this year I tried out a lot of different markets, and I decided what does and what doesn't work for me. That's actually going to be another video I do here very soon, which is going to be I felt overall after a year of markets and trying out different markets and doing a bunch of them this year. I've done more markets this year than I've ever done in my entire life previously. And so I have a recap. I'm going to do a recap video for you guys on my thoughts on that and what's worth it to me and what's not worth it to me. So definitely stay tuned to find out more about that. But for now, that is all of the questions that I had. So I am going to say, if you have any more questions that you would like me to answer, I can definitely do this again. And I would love to answer any questions in the meantime. If you have something pressing that you would like to know, I can definitely comment down below as well to let you guys know anything that you might want to know. In the meantime, I will talk to you guys all later. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video if you enjoyed this, or if you would like to learn more about me or what I'm doing. I have lots of ideas for the new year, and so I can't wait to start bringing all of these new ideas out to you guys, and I will talk to you all on the next one. Bye!